Welcome to day 6. Today we face the most brutal question in a PhD viva. So what? Your examiners do not care if your math is right or you're just repeating something someone else did 10 years ago. To pass, you need novelty. You need to prove that if you didn't do this study, a piece of world's knowledge would stay missing. So today I'm going to give you PhD gap checklist, the 5 ways to prove your work is original.
A gap is simply an unanswered question in existing research. Here is how to spot them. The first one is theoretical gap. The definition is when existing theories miss a mitigating or moderating variable or can't explain a paradox. For example, we know eating spicy food, which can be variable A, leads to sweating, which is variable B. But we don't have a theory for why some people enjoy the pain. We're missing the masochism variable. The next one is methodological gap, which means when previous studies use a specific method like qualitative interviews or quantitative that limits the result, and a new method is needed for better accuracy. For example, everyone has been studying pizza quality by just looking at the photos on Instagram. I'm the first researcher to actually eat the pizza. Different tool, different truth. The third one is contextual gap, where the theory tested in one culture industry, which has been tested in one environment, but its validity is unknown in a different setting, culture, or industry. For example, we know heavy winter jackets sell well in London, but does that theory work in the 40 degrees Celsius heat of Kuala Lumpur? New place, new gap. The next one is a practical gap, when there is a mismatch between what academic books say should happen and what is actually happening in the real world. For example, the textbooks say that alarms wake people up. In practice, my brother or sister hits snooze 15 times and sleeps until noon. The gap between the book and what my sibling is doing is a practical gap. For policy level gap, which is the last and final gap, is when a research is missing to inform government regulations or organizational rules. For example, everyone is riding electric scooter on the sidewalk, but there is no law saying you can't do it while wearing a dinosaur suit. That lack of a rule is a policy gap. People ask me what is the real difference between a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD? It's the degree of originality. For bachelors, you act as a reporter, you're proving you can find information, you summarize what exists. For master's level, you work as an analyst, as we mentioned before. You're proving you can apply information. You take an existing theory and test it on a small group. For PhD, you work as the architect. You're proving you can extend information. You find a hole in existing theories or a weakness in previous methods, and you build a better way to find the truth.
Find where the wheel is stuck and give it a little push. If you can say that previous researchers used a different tool in a different country or maybe ignored this specific real-world mess, you're 100% rejection proof. Now that we have the problem, the plan, and the novelty, see you tomorrow where I show you a formula to write a PhD level title.